Hello and welcome to my channel. Here we learn the lore and stories of the world of Tyria. Today we're gonna look at the new elite specs in the latest article and the trailer released, as well as dive into some lore regarding them. Now sit back and relax as we talk a little about the lore behind these specs. Let's begin.
Their wild hunt lead them into the world where they experience tragedy and heroics, adventure and excitement. Now that they've returned to the grove, the Troubadour is ready to share their journeys in melody and tale. Let the instruments aid in battle, flustering your enemies, giving your allies time to attack. The lute strums 3 times on its magical strings, sending pulses of energy forth to deal damage to your enemies. As the battle's tempo ebbs and flows, let the harp heal your allies for a moment of soothing melodies. And as you build up notes, be ready to strike a crescendo upon your enemies, while giving your allies a helping hand. Tales of the Dominion of Winds are whispered on the breeze. Graceful warriors from the royal houses have emerged, eager to share their ways with the Tyrian alliance. The Galeshot manipulates magnificent gales to strengthen the power of their bow. Draw your cyclone bow, a testament to the magical abilities of these skilled Tengu. With your cyclone bow summoned, gain feathers over time. Use these feathers to bluster your enemy, firing 3 arrows rapidly at your target. Evade backwards, shooting a hail of wind and arrows, crippling your would-be assailants. Use your supersonic arrow, bursting forth with the power of the wind, dealing heavy damage. And finish off your enemy with a final blow, leaping back with a flourish of arrows. As your enemies fall, let the wind carry their last breath away. Rising from the ashes of the Char Civil War, the Iron and Flame Legions have combined their technological and magical sensibilities to harness radiant flame to beckon forth an era of change. Call up the Radiant Shroud to gain access to the power bestowed upon you. Protect yourself with your shield and daze your enemies with a quick bash. Bring the hammer down upon them as you grant boons to your allies with the hammer's presence. Take a stance against the damages done to your allies as you heal and grant them protection. Become a symbol of hope by fulfilling the duties of the Luminary.
So first here we have the Troubadour, and I'm just gonna read off the official news page here. The Troubadour, inspiring storytellers. Since the firstborn emerged from beneath the boughs of the pale tree 36 years ago, many Sylvari have taken the lesson, where life goes, so too should you, to heart, traversing Tyria, battling their inner dragons, and finding their place in the time after. These far-flung travelers have seen and done much in a short time, and some, whether through whim or wild hunt, have taken to regaling Tyrians with tales of recent famous and infamous characters, such as the cunning Dougal Keen, the fearless Amora Soulkeeper, and even the scathing Scarlet Briar. Now, these Sylvari troubadours have returned home from their time abroad to share their craft in good faith and to strengthen the bonds between their people and the rest of the Tyrian alliance. Troubadours spin dramatic ballads and tales as their words weave magic and music to raise allies' spirits and demoralize their foes. Their recitals can even be accompanied by illusory instruments for additional effect. Now, I think it's very cool that they're weaving in a lot of lore into these elite specs, hopefully all of the other ones as well. And well, because we don't really get any new weapons with these classes or these specs, so they have to be pretty advanced system-wise, I guess, and perhaps that gives Anet the time to, well, build them upon the lore as much as they can, I guess. So there is some depth to them. Well, obviously all the other elite specs in the game have ties to the lore, but perhaps these will be, well, hopefully, at least to me, these will be more like, well, lore specs, so to speak. Since this Troubadour is basically just the firstborn when they come back to the Pale Tree and just tell their stories of their adventures. One thing that I think is pretty weird is that they could have used a Sylvari character here for the Troubadour, but they used a human. I mean, understandable, but at the same time, they could have used a Sylvari. But nevertheless, pretty fire. Let's move on. Another thing is that the Troubadours, well, they tell tales of characters and all that. One thing that I thought about is I watched Wood and Potatoes video, and he's the OG lore aficionado, I guess. But he remarked at the same place that I did in this, well, regarding these characters. And it says here that these Troubadours have taken to regaling Tyrians with tales of recent famous and infamous figures, such as Dougal Keen, Almora Soulkeeper, and Scarlet Briar. Now, if you just play the game, you know Almora Soulkeeper and Scarlet Briar. You might have come across Dougal Keen in the game, because you can find him in the, well, in Lion's Arch, in like the guild thingy, where the Tyrian Alliance first met in the beginning of Janthir Wilds. However, you do not really know his significance in the lore. He is one of the 6 characters or people who went into Ascalon City to retrieve the Claw of the Khan-Ur in order for the Char treaty between the Char and the humans to even work. So he is one of those people. So he has great ties to the lore, he's a very big lore character, but if you just play the game, you probably don't know that. So I'm just gonna shove that in here, so you know that. Good. Alright, let's move on to the Galeshot, Masters of the Wind. And as in the same fashion as the Troubadour, I'm just gonna read off this news page here. For over 100 years, the Tengu of the Dominion of Winds have kept their gates shut and their arrows trained on the outside world. After minions of Primordus and Jormag threatened to siege the Dominion's walls in the last Dragon Rise, some Tengu have emerged to more actively engage in Tyrian affairs, and, as a rare honor, offer cultural exchanges, the behest of their royal houses. One such exchange is the honored tradition of the Galeshot. These Tengu archers, skilled and oath-bound to protect the royal houses, are able to summon the 4 cardinal winds to form a powerful cyclone bow and deliver swift justice to their foes. As contributing members of the Tyrian Alliance, the Tengu now offer tutelage in these skills to willing outsiders who express interest in the Galeshot craft. Firstly, I love the Tengu and all of Tengu lore, so this is perfect, and one of my mains is a ranger, so I'm definitely gonna be playing this spec. Looks pretty cool. And one thing that is pretty amazing with the Tengu is that the Luminary winds have been shut down for a lot of time. They don't want anything with the outside world. However, during the events of the Asper Saga, or after the events of the Asper Saga, I guess some of the elders have softened to the outside world and the idea of being part of the rest of Tyria. But during one of the Dragon Response missions, you actually get to fight beside some Tengu, and they are generally curious because they are of the younger generation, so they don't really know why is the Luminary winds shut, why can't we go outside? And they fight alongside the commander and their allies, so they think, well, why can't we be a part of this? This is awesome. So over time, the elders might have softened, or at least some of the elders, we don't really know anything. They are very secretive and very hard, very strong on the tradition part of their lives. So anyway, some of their elders have softened and went outside, and now that they're part of the Tyrian Alliance, they get to offer a lot of their knowledge that has been, well, hidden from us for these last 100 years or more. So that's pretty cool, I love it. Moving on to the last spec for today, the Luminary, Protectors of the Secret Flame. So here it says on the news page, in the years following the Shar Civil War and the scattering of Bangar's dominion, relations between the 4 legions have remained steady, bolstered by the events after the end of the Dragon Cycle. With the Flame Legion formally rejoining the legions and the Iron Legion having appointed Smolder's successor, the two legions sought to commemorate the changing times with a joint project. Thus, the Luminary was born. In a shrewd diplomatic play, the two legions have since agreed to share their combined efforts with the Tyrian Alliance and its member races in the spirit of continued collaboration in this new era. Luminaries bear the enchanted iron brazier that sustains a powerful sacred flame. The bearer can wreathe themselves with this fire and wield a blazing arsenal of weapons against their foes, while striking powerful stances mid-fray. Personally, this, in the lore sense, is actually one of my favorites, at least in these three. I love the Char lore, I love everything, well, not really the Flame Legion, but from now on, I think the Flame Legion is very cool, at least from, well, the events of the Asbjörn Saga, and after that, very awesome. One thing that is pretty cool, or, well, weird, I guess, is that during the events of Living World Season 1, you meet, well, all of the Flame Legion and the Dredge are working together, and the Dredge are infused with flame magic, and the Flame Legion have the Dredge technology, which is basically made of iron. So it's flame and iron. So right now, it's a new take on that, but instead of the Dredge, it's the Iron Legion. And I think this is actually very cool. It looks like, well, the faux fire, obviously, the blue flame and all that. There is no ties to the faux fire and all of that, from what I can see, at least from the wiki and the news, but we might get some new lore regarding it. Would be extremely cool, because apparently you can, like, one of the utility skills, or like some of the utility skills on this Luminary is stances, and you get a shroud similar to the Reaper shroud and the, like, the Necromancer shroud and all of that. So this could be very, very cool. And one thing that I thought is that, what if one of the stances is like, well, the faux fire stance, or like one of those things would be pretty cool. But I doubt it, probably not. But perhaps there are some ties to the faux fire due to the blue flame and all that. A lot of the community have been speculating about it, so I hope so, or at least some more lore ties to the Guild Wars 2 lore, or Guild Wars 1 lore, we don't really know. Perhaps this is more of a Guild Wars 2 lore because of the, well, the reuniting of the Char Legions, but I could be wrong. Anyway, this looks very cool. All of these three specs look very cool, and all of the other specs also look pretty cool, but we have to wait and see for a more in-depth articles on those ones, so stay tuned. What do you think of these specs and their lore ties? Comment down below. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to not miss future lore content in this, or, well, in the storytelling format. And take care, and I will see you in the next story. Goodbye.